Just got this giant box from a company called Vevor. Let's unbox it and try it out. What do you guys think it is? It is definitely the most random tool I have, and the time is up, and the answer is it's a twin pen sandblaster. Now, my husband owns a giant sandblaster, so I had an idea of how these actually work, but I didn't realize that you can get them this small. But apparently these are used in dental labs where they fix the teeth and make them look like teeth and whatnot, and jewelry people use them also. Alright, so this is what it looks like. Very sturdy, and it's huge, which is very convenient for when you're going to be sandblasting your tiny pieces. This is all the stuff it comes with, and it's packaged very nicely. You got the feet, the tubes, the foot pedal, and it very conveniently has sand that comes with it. Also wanted to point out their packaging, again, is amazing. This box is empty, and somehow it can hold my weight. Alright, let's set the sandblaster up. I did have to buy a piece. I just went to the local hardware store to hook that up to my air compressor. That's also something that you are going to need. To put the feet on, you are just turning it over and screwing them on. This whole setup, it's actually really easy to do. I figured out how to do it, and it's very basic for the most part. Alright, so next up, you're putting your tubes in, and those lock into place. You don't have to worry about them once they're in. Now, when you're putting the sand in, you're only putting halfway full so that it actually can go through and doesn't get clogged up. Alright, so that is the hardest part you're actually going to do. You tighten those guys up, and you're good to go. Okay, so here's what it looks like already, and you got your pressure adjust, your pressure gauge, and your reverse control on here. Remember how I said you need an air compressor? Well, that's mine. It's kind of sad looking, but it does work still. So I just hooked it up, and you know how I said earlier how easy this is? It really is easy, but you also need common sense. So in between me showing you what it looked like set up versus this video right here, I made lunch for my family and then came back, and I forgot completely about the foot pedal it had. So this is me going back and forth to the air hose, back to the sandblaster, trying to figure out why no air is going in it. It's because I wasn't pressing down on the foot pedal. That is what releases the air. It also has this really nice button on the side for a light you'll see me touch a few times. The only thing I've ever owned with a foot pedal before is a sewing machine, so this is really fancy to me, okay? But at some point, I figured out how to press the foot pedal to get air into it, and for it to work, you need 4 kilograms of air, and then it works great. Alright, so I finally got everything figured out. Let's sandblast some stuff. I got this rusty pancake die, and here I am trying to find something that's really tarnished, which would be that spoon. It's not the prettiest looking spoon, so that'll work. So I put my pieces in there, I closed the lid, it's got a nice little lock on it, and started sandblasting. It was the same idea as sewing, except instead of thread going through a machine, it was just sand popping out onto metal, and it was actually cleaning it, and I was very surprised by this. Now, I say surprised because not all machines work how they say they're going to, but this one actually does work and how it's supposed to. Now, with all tools, we're all going to use them differently. I tried quite a few different positions with my hands and the hose just to see what I actually liked, and through the video, you will see me take my hands in and out just to see what I liked, and I also changed the reverse control a lot. The reverse control was the button on the top. It goes up and down, and that's for the left or right hose. Alright, so back to the pancake die. That is a steel pancake die. As you can see, it's very rusty, and the sandblasting is just taking it right off. As for the spoon, now that is just very heavily tarnished. There's brass underneath, but with the sandblasting, it doesn't actually bring up the brass. It keeps the plating on it, and it works great. You do get a really nice matte finish on both pieces, though. So here's a close-up of them all done, and I really like the results. I think they're awesome. If I didn't speed up the video, that took 5 minutes for both pieces. Alright, next metal is copper. It is heavily patinaed, as you can see, so here we go. Copper's kind of hard to dull down. It just always comes out bright, in my eyes at least, especially when you put it next to patina, but I messed around a little bit, gave it a nice little signature, the best I could, and that's what it looks like. Again, I'm still very impressed. And the last metal that I used, sterling silver. As you can see, those pieces are very nasty looking. They got crudted with pickle, and that wasn't clean, but it's okay. I cleaned them right up with this guy. I honestly was not sure how I was going to get that off because it was not coming off in the tumbler, and I figured, okay, maybe we're going to have to polish it off. And then this guy came in the mail, and I'm like, ooh, let's try this. And it actually worked out really good. So I just gave it this like really nice matte finish, got all the nasty off. I threw them in the tumbler, and they look so shiny and beautiful looking. Like I barely had to do any work to get it off either. Like that's the best part of it. But here they are before being finished, and I'm amazed. I'm really amazed by this machine, and I'm giving it a thumbs up. It's great.